Welcome to another episode of The Raw Truth. As always, I'm your host, BX Bad Boy, and today you'll see two different camera views, and it's a test. I want to know your opinion. Leave a comment. Tell me which one you like. The darker one, the one that's got the 100% in the corner, that's my GoPro 8. The color's darker and crisper. The lighting's the same on both. I haven't done anything to alter the lighting per camera. It's just the way the camera works. Now, the camera that makes me look like a ghost, that one is the laptop's camera. It also sees less than the GoPro 8. So tell me what you think in the comments, which one you prefer, and that's the one I'll use. It gets more of the shirt than the laptop camera. But that may also be a bad thing because you see more of my gut. But let me know what you think. And today we're going to discuss some of the bullshit going on that I've been watching. So today I'm going to use probably both these cameras half the way, so you got a better experience on which one you prefer. But today we're talking about parenting. I went to the store and I came up with that decision. So, let's start. When you cater to your children, you build brats. And what do I mean by cater to? Well, if you do things to shut your children up, whatever that thing is, that's catering to them. Catering isn't being nice and helpful. Catering is every little issue or detail you are stuck on. For instance, if your child won't shut up until you give them your cell phone, that's catering. That develops a brat. If they want something and they don't stop crying until they get it, and you give it to them to stop them from crying, that's catering. And I don't want to say it this way, but the best way I can put it, that's bad parenting. That doesn't make you a bad parent. Let me be very clear. There's a huge difference between being a bad parent and bad parenting. Now, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Most of us don't know what would be good parenting until we try it. Some things are common sense. Other things take experience. Like, there's a few sounds in this world I literally cannot stand. Like, they drive me nuts. To the point where I want to hurt something or someone. And the first sound above all else is while someone's eating. That drives me bonkers. Oh. Other sound is a crying baby. But it drives me bonkers in a different way. Like, when my son was a baby and he would cry, I would break down in tears, and sometimes to this day still makes me cry thinking about it. That's a different type of bonkers. That's not like, oh, shut up type bonkers, like when the kid's bitching because they don't get their way. It's more of the pain it causes is so severe that it drives me nuts. Especially as a baby that doesn't speak. Because I don't know what he needs or what he wants. Because he can't express it. So he could be crying for food. He could be crying because of his diaper. He could be crying because he's tired. He could be crying for almost anything. Now there's ways to narrow it down. But again, it's all hit and miss. There was times that my son was crying hysterically because he wanted my cell phone. And I mean, we're talking about as an infant, like baby, still in diapers, just got out of his mother's womb almost, 6 months to a year after his birth. And I couldn't do it. I'm not giving you my cell phone. It's not happening. So I literally bought a spare cell phone, hooked it up to no Wi-Fi, hooked it up to nothing, and let him play with it. Because he wanted to be like daddy even when he was 6 months old. So he saw me on the phone, so he wanted to be on the phone too. And that's cute. So I bought him a phone that was non-functional to the sense that he can't make phone calls, can't go on the Wi-Fi, and he also didn't know how to do all that. But giving him my phone, that wasn't happening. And until I bought him the phone, he would cry hysterically, and I would tell him no, can't happen. So first I bought him a kid phone, which is one of those little toy phones that got big buttons on it, and make funny sounds. And that would subside him for a little while, but it wouldn't last for long. So, I would find ways to distract him when he wanted my cell phone, but again, it wouldn't last long. So I bought him one of his own. It was a fully functional phone. It just had no SIM card in it. It had no service, and it didn't connect it to Wi-Fi. As a matter of fact, that particular phone didn't have Wi-Fi. It was that low budget. Still a flip phone, for Christ's sake. And when he wanted a phone, I gave him that one. Sometimes he'd still reach for mine. Not having it. I would be forced to let him cry, because it would be the wrong thing to do to give him what he wants just to shut him up or just to stop him crying. So he stopped asking for my phone. He no longer reached for it after a certain point. He had his own. And then after that, when he got old enough to speak, he didn't ask for my phone. He didn't want it. He wanted to play out one of the games on my phone, so I bought him his own game system, because I'm not an unfair person. I want him to have fun and be happy, but I'm not going to sacrifice my sanity for it. So I bought him a tablet. It was called a Curio. Had all the options a cell phone had and other tablets, but no phone capabilities, no internet searching, no YouTube. It just had whatever games were on it. As he got older, he required one that had YouTube because he wanted to watch YouTube videos, mostly about video games and silly people that put on practical jokes and do things, which is fine, whatever. I'm not mad at him, have fun. Now, but I never catered to his cries. If he wanted something I had and that's what made him stop crying, I would get him one of his own, not give him mine. And if I couldn't give him one of his own, then I didn't give him anything and he had to sit there and deal with the crying. But as an infant, when he was still in diapers and barely could even make any sounds besides crying, the sound would give me nightmares. Because I couldn't get an answer out of him because he wasn't speaking yet. Oh my God, did it drive me nuts. So when he was able to talk and he would still cry, I made sure it was clear, dude, this is my house. That's not happening. I learned a long time ago, before I even had a child, that in any relationship, friend, lover, girlfriend, wife, father, sister, brother, cousin, the list can go on for a short period of time. Anyway, any relationship required one main thing. One. You get this one thing down, everything else will fall into place. Because we're all different, but this one thing is a unified factor. Consistency. Whether it hurts or not, you need to be consistent. It doesn't matter. And you need to be more consistent with a child than you ever do with an adult or older human, teenager or otherwise. I think I said this in a previous episode, and I'll just say it again. My son liked to run away from me in the store. And it got to the point where I had to give him a threat and a warning of the consequences if he kept doing it. There might have been another consequence, but none I thought was severe enough for him to get the point of how dangerous it is to run away in public. So, all the other threats didn't work. Oh, I'm going to take away your video games, I'm going to take away this, I'm going to take away that, you're grounded, blah, blah, blah. He is a stubborn little boy, just like his mother and father. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Anyway, the threat and the punishment was he was banned from my house if he ever ran away from me again. The day came, he did it one more time. I had to back that threat up, no matter how much it hurt. And I'll tell you this, that was probably one of the worst pains I've ever experienced. I was telling my son he was banned from my house. So I called his mother. I made her come get him. Well, I don't even rephrase that because she'll be offended. I didn't make her. I told her come get him. He ran off into the store and refused to come back. Oh, that's because you're going to hit him. I don't care why he ran off. He ran off. You need to come get him. And he's banned from my house. Now, did she tell him that? No. She told him I don't want him anymore. It's not what I said. It's not even what I meant. And it's not even an interpretative factor. He's just banned from coming to this house. I still was going to take him back and forth to school every day. He just was banned from this house. And what that meant in its entirety, no more overnights with Daddy. He comes here, I take him to school, he comes back, his mother gets out of work, he goes to his mother's. And that would be his day for the entire week. And then on the weekend, he wouldn't be allowed here at all. So I backed it up. She came and grabbed him. She told him I didn't want him anymore, which is not what I said. And after she dragged him out of the store, kicking and screaming, and so was he, there was a wet vac. You know, those big vacuum cleaners that are made of metal, and it sucks up water like other vacuums don't, and it sucks up bigger things. It was probably a 12-gallon inside a box. I kicked it, and it flew about, from what it looked like, 10 or 15 feet. And according to my friend, it went that far. Now another friend was a dick. He goes, oh, it didn't even move. Now I know for a fact that's a lie because I watched it move. But I didn't stop to watch, I kept it moving. Didn't feel the kick. Didn't hurt. If I didn't see me kick it, I wouldn't have known. The only thing that hurt was what I was forced to do to teach my son a lesson. Do you know he called me that night begging, not like on his hands and knees, like groveling, but begging, if he promises to never do it again, can he come back? I said, if you promise to never do it again, and you never do it again, yes, you can come back. But you do it again, there will be no second chance. Because that makes it a third chance. This is your second chance. He said, okay, Daddy, thank you. Do you know he never ran away again? Harsh? Perhaps. Will that work on every kid? Probably not. But you got to back up your word. My child respects me so much more than anyone else on this planet, and that includes his mother, that includes my father, my brothers, his uncles, his aunts, everybody, including the police. Which, yes, I taught him to respect them, but he gives me more respect. I mean, his behavior is not the point of respect. It's the status I hold in his world. It's very high because I'm a man of my word. No matter what I have to lose, if I say it, I do it. Unless I can't, then I won't say it. So that's consistency, because I don't give that child a word that I do not back up. Number 2, I will not ask my child to do something I wouldn't do. If I tell him go kill that person, I'll kill that person. I tell him take that garbage out, I'll take that garbage out. Eat that sandwich, I'll eat that sandwich. Never will I ask my son to do something I'm not willing to do myself. Now, let me be clear. Stuff I ask him. If he makes a poop sandwich, I'm gonna make him eat it whether he likes it or not, because no one told him to make a poop sandwich. But guess what? I'm not eating that poop sandwich because I'm not dumb enough or crazy enough to make a poop sandwich. There's a difference. Any order I give my son, take the trash out, clean the bathroom, cut the grass, I cut the grass even though it could kill me. I clean the bathroom even though it could kill me. Kitchen could kill me. Any cleaning that's done in this house by me could potentially kill me. We're not going to get into that. We'll just say high blood pressure, stent in my heart. Anyway, I don't ask my son to do it if I won't, or if I haven't done it before. That's consistency. Everything else, as you notice, is all reverting back to consistency. When you're inconsistent, guess what your child's behavior is going to be? Inconsistent. My son doesn't behave all the time, and I will not act like he's a well-behaved, scared of daddy, they call it God-fearing, but in his case, daddy-fearing behavior. No. But his behavior is consistent. You know what's coming, you know what he's going to do, you know what he's going to say, almost predictable. For me, especially predictable, but almost predictable. Because he's consistent, because I'm consistent. I'm not going to call out names, and if some of these people know these stories because it's about them and their families, I'm not mad at you. It's just a fact. When your child cries because he wants to break the rules, and you let him break the rules, he's going to always break the rules. Gameplay is for after school. I don't care that the building isn't open. The school day is the school day. End of story. So, with that being said, if he wants to play with the toy during school day, it's no matter what. He cries, he bitches, he threatens. I don't care. No, no, no. Ask me again, and I'm going to throw it out. Ask me again, and I'm going to change the color of the walls in my room. These are requirements because children don't respond to, no, you can't do it because I say so. You must give a threat or at least an idle threat. And what I mean by idle isn't a lie, it is impossible. It's an extreme statement, like painting the walls a different color, Of course, means I'm gonna take him and beat my walls with his corpse. That's not gonna happen. That's an extreme. It gets them to the point like, okay, I know they're not gonna kill me, but what will they do? Let me not fuck with that. But if you just say, no, you can't do it, I stand my ground, children go, you funny. And then the other threat, which is an idol, I would have thrown that toy out if he persisted to try to break the rules. And I don't care who bought it. Another friend, her daughter tested me, pushed my patience. I threatened to puncture her tire on her little bicycle. You won't do that. It ain't yours. You have to buy me a new one. I don't give a fuck. If I threaten it, I'm gonna do it. So she said, I dare you. I ain't afraid of you, little brat. So what did I do? I took out my knife right in front of her. Yes, I know the sound wasn't necessary, but I like making it. She ran into the house. She flipped out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yes, I had to replace the inner tube, and I had complete plans on it. Of course, I replaced it on my own time. Not on her little time. On my time. Did I care? Hell to the nah. You disrespect me, you pay the price. I don't care if you're a child or an adult. Now, she will tell you she does not like fucking with me because she's afraid of the consequences. And either she actually is afraid of the consequences or afraid to find out if there are any consequences or not. It really doesn't matter. She's doing what she's supposed to do. Out of fear or out of common sense. It's up to you. Now, she's not afraid of me. Like, she trusts me. They all do. They all come to me for help. I'm another father figure to them. But they also know that I have no problem removing body parts and beating them with them. They know I will grab one of them and beat the other one with that same person. So essentially, I'll take your son by his ankles and beat his sister with him. So they're fully aware of the consequences of pushing me and fucking with my authority and disrespecting me. But yet, if they're ever in trouble, who do they run to? Me. They run to their mother and to other father figures, but they don't run from me unless they're in trouble. And yes, they may be annoyed by me, but I don't care. I will torture them like a good father should. I know I'm not their father, but I am still a father figure, and I am a father of a child who gets tortured in front of them. You're going to behave, whether you like it or not. But I'm not going to cater to you at all. Now, some people's children I cannot demolish, so I have limitations to my powers. And I tell these children, the day your parents let me tear you a new one, oh, it's gonna be grimy for you. What? Exactly. The second your parents give me the green light, scares the living shit out of them, and then they start to behave. Didn't have to touch them, but then they start getting cocky. Oh. Now, yes, I know I said I'd keep this on half the time, but probably the whole video, because It's just easier because I don't know which camera I want to use. One makes me look like a ghost, and I can fix that with the lighting. Let's just be clear when you guys make your choice, if you even make a choice. I can fix the lighting to make the white look more like the GoPro, meaning not so blinding. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Oh, please subscribe and or like or both. I see there's like 17% of the people, or I think it was 23%, aren't subscribed. So please subscribe. I could use the help and the members because, you know, I like to get monetized or be on the verge of being monetized. They may not monetize because of what's my content, but I won't know. Thank you for those of you who do support us, and hope you enjoy these stupid little things I do. I plan on trying to do reaction videos, not just because I've seen a few of them and people seem to like them, but I do it on my own time. So why not share it with you? Me and my brothers will do the reaction videos. We see what we see and we say what we say. There was one about the Family Guy and their racist jokes, particularly in this particular one is black racist jokes. And the reviewers are trying not to laugh. As you already know, one of my brothers is black, I'm white. This would make it for interesting content, that's for sure, that both of us are watching the same video, and which one laughs and cannot stop. Meaning who can't stop themselves from laughing but not laugh like an animal. That would be fun. He's going through some things, as you notice he hasn't been here in a couple of times, but we'll catch up with him soon enough. But back to parenting. Our word is our bond in life, but it means so much more as parents. It's why our children are such fuck-ups, is that the parents aren't keeping their word. Their word is not their bond. Their word is, if this will shut them up real quick. Listen, there's idle threats, and your children know they're idle, and my child knows it's idle because it's extreme. I tell him I'm going to rip off his head and use it as a basketball. He knows it's impossible, but he also gets the point of how upset his actions are making me. Then there's other threats, that I'm going to take his PS3 and rip it in fucking half. He knows that one will happen, because he knows I don't care about money. I care about surviving, and I know I need money. But I don't care about it. I help out those in need that I can help. My brother asked me for money. My friends ask me for money. If I've got it, it's yours. I've given money away to 2 strangers I just met online. They told me they were in need of money. They were in money troubles. They both during COVID. It was only $50 per person. Now the first person I gave it to, they took my $50 and fucked off. The second person didn't take my $50 and fuck off, but they fucked up. They started acting funny. They were trying not to, because I was under the impression that they wanted more money. Now that's twice now I got dicked over for $50. Do I care about the $50? No. I only care about the getting dicked over part. But I don't mind helping someone when I've got it. So my son knows I don't care about money. And that's not my PlayStation. That's his. I will take it, break it, throw it out. You want a new one? Get a job. I tell him I don't replace things you make me break. When he was 6, he made me take one of his Ratchet and Clank games and snap it like a twig in front of him and throw it out. to this day, and he's now turning 12, I've never replaced it, and I will not. Well, if I get him a PS4, I will replace it, because I need a PS4 version of these games. And to me, it's a new game, not a replacement. Okay? Yeah, fine line of my own stupidity, but hey. Sometimes you gotta bend a little bit and be a spoiling man or woman of your child. And sometimes you don't. So, in surmise, if you baby your children, they will remain babies. Treat them like a human being and they will grow up. I promise. Their outcome is up to you. We had this conversation, and I'll end this segment here, but we had this conversation before that if you don't teach your children a car is a car and a boat is a boat, and you switch the words, calling a car a boat and a boat a car, that child will grow up calling a boat a car a boat. Yes, they'll look like morons when they start talking to the rest of the people, but they won't call it a boat. They won't call it a car because you didn't teach them that. Now, there's some stuff you can't stop them from learning. My son, when he was 1.5 years old, was the one person I dated my son's entire existence other than his mother. Didn't last long, and it was his mother's fault that it ended. Long story. You want to know? Feel free to comment and tell me you want to know, and I'll let you know if I didn't tell you in another video. But in this video, we're going to go with this. I went out to breakfast with my son at 1.5. The somewhat girlfriend at the time, her name was Chrissy, and my younger sister Kim. And while at breakfast, my son's sitting in the chair. He looks at my girlfriend at the time, and I mean out of nowhere, points at her and calls her an ass eater. Now, I never taught him those words, especially not in that context. So I looked at my girlfriend at the time, like, you got something to tell me? She's like, no. Children don't lie. He knows something I don't know and you don't want me to know. So what is that? So it became a funny joke. Anyway, he learned ass eater on his own. Either he put it together because he's heard ass and eater. Yes, there are some things they're going to learn on their own. But the way to behave isn't verbal. It's a combination of stuff. You don't walk into a woman's dressing room, even though you walk into the room while your mother's dressing as an infant all the time. And those who breastfeed, the child's seen the breast and grew up that way until the breastfeeding stopped. But you don't walk in on your mother anyway. Why is that? Because you're taught not to do that. So if you don't teach your children not to do things, and there's a difference between telling and teaching. It's like with a dog. Children and dogs are equal in the training ability until a certain point. After a certain point, dogs are different. Obvious reasons. If you throw a ball, the child and the dog will run after it. They will not attempt to throw the ball. But if you say, take the ball, put it in your hand, go like this, buddy, and let it go. Let it go. Let it go. What's the child going to do? Let it go. Sometimes they'll drop at the floor, depending how strong they are at the time, depending if they let go of it in time. That's teaching. Showing and teaching are not the same things. Showing is just doing something but not informing the person and or child how you did that. I taught my son magic tricks by showing him and then saying, can you figure out how I did it? Of course not, Dad. Durr. I had to literally show him step by step how to do the magic trick. How to fool someone to believe something that ain't real in the same magic field. But I did the trick, which is showing it to him. He still couldn't get it. That's because there's a difference between showing and teaching. And yes, I do understand that showing is part of teaching, but just showing isn't teaching. Parents don't understand that sometimes. They teach the wrong things or nothing at all, and show the wrong things or nothing at all. You have to remain consistent regardless of what you feel like. If you weren't consistent at a job, you'd get fired. You're not consistent as a parent? Bad parenting. And number 2, consistency's 1. Number 2, stop being a sucker. Just because a child cries, that doesn't mean you gotta stop the world. Oh my baby. I had a son who was a baby at one point, and I didn't care that he cried. I cared, I didn't know why. As soon as he was able to cry and I could understand why, meaning, not even when he started talking, you can start to tell over time if he's crying for something he wants, like a toy, food, drink, sleep, wet diaper, shitty diaper, hurt himself. You'll start to know. Once I started to understand what those cries were before he could speak, I was no longer concerned and crying hysterically. Unless my child hurt himself, then of course I felt his pain. But if he was being a brat, oh hell to the no. I wasn't feeling bad. Even as a baby, he got popped upside the head. Nope. But I digress. Stop being suckers. And number 3, you're supposed to care more about your children than you do yourself. So they eat, then you do. Not you eat, then they do. The problem is when you're selfish, your children learn to be selfish. And then they become selfish. But, what do I know? I have a son who knows how to behave when he's in my presence, and 8 other children who also know how to behave in my presence. And all I have to do is say things. I know I don't have to physically harm them every time. My words are just as potent as my hand, but it required my hand to begin with. Because you can tell your child, I'm going to hit you. If you never hit them, they're not going to believe you. You have to at least hit them some of the time. There's one other way, but it doesn't work until they get older. You need to take something that's extremely heavy when you're angry and launch it. Let it hit the wall, the floor, a brick wall, a tree, and either shatter, break, or bend in such a way the child is shocked out of their mind. Then they'll turn and go, oh shit, that could have been me. As an infant, that doesn't work. They don't understand anything. They understand the simplest concept. I don't want that. No, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. But as they get older, we'll say between 5 and 7, they start to learn that it's hard to break things. So if you can break something, they can't. In their eyes, you're a super person. And I say person because it could be male or female. You're a super person. And they're going to go, okay, I'm sorry. You said do what? Okay. But until that point, you have to give them at least a tap on the ass or the back of the head. I say for boys, it's just, I know this sounds sexist, but for boys, the back of the head is more effective than the butt. For girls, on the ass seems to work better than on the back of the head. I don't know if that's because men are their heads are harder than females. I don't know. Just my experience. That you want to get a girl's attention, get her to act right as a baby, pop, right on the butt. A boy, pop, back of the head. Don't know why. I'm going to say it's because women have thinner head. Because they say females genetically are more fragile than males. So you can't hit them too hard on the head because if you do, it hurts so much more than is necessary. But boys, you can run them over with a car and still walk away. I'm being sarcastic. And for those of you who don't think I am and don't like what I'm saying, there's two things you can do. Leave a comment or walk the fuck away. I don't mind if you don't like it. It works. It's more efficient than, be a good boy. Oh, here's a cookie. Oh, cookie. Doesn't work. And I'll prove my point at the end of this conversation. My son's mother, we did an IEP with my son, well, with his school. They're bitching and moaning that my son's fucking up. Because he has the freedom to fuck up. Because she's in her room working from home. And not able to be up his ass. Making sure he's doing everything he's supposed to. She doesn't know he's doing it or not doing it until she gets off of work or a teacher emails her. So I'm sitting there listening to everybody bitch. And I'm not mad at their bitching so much as the tone of their bitching. Like it's like my son's fault that he's got this freedom. Not his fault. He didn't do this. But it is his fault that he doesn't step up like he should. But it's also his mother's fault that she didn't instill in him any discipline. So, from the other room, nothing she says or does is going to stick because he doesn't see her as a disciplinary because she doesn't discipline unless he does something directly to her. Like if he smacked her, she'll yell at him, but not discipline him, yell at him. There's a difference between yelling at someone and disciplining them. But we're not going to go there right now. We'll get to that in the next episode, if you care to know. But, so, I'm sitting there listening to this fucking horse shit. Then I hear the biggest horse shit come out of her mouth. I'm a hire a tutor. I'm his fucking father, bitch. Why the fuck are you gonna pay for a tutor? He doesn't need a tutor. He needs a babysitter to watch his every goddamn move while he's in school. Because he knows. You ask him, he'll tell you. He knows he doesn't have to do it because she's not going to do shit for 8 hours. And it's not all her fault. I'll give her credit. She does have to work and she is in such a position where she can't just get up and go in the other room. Irony behind that is they're like 4 feet away. But getting a tutor is just stupid. At the present moment, I have 3 jobs. One is taking care of my father's affairs, which, by the way, for those who care, he's still recovering in rehab and still slightly delusional. Last things come out of his mouth was, if something happens to me, don't worry, there's plenty of money. And it came out real delusional. And I don't know what he's talking about, because as it isn't that simple. They took away his paycheck, claiming he's not disabled. So I don't know what money he's referring to, but things are getting tight. we're not going to go into that right now. I'm not here to badger anyone about my life. And those who want to know, comment. And if you really want me to do a video about it, I'll tell you. 2. A father to that child. And all things that come with that. Which means he comes to my house and does his schoolwork. The only problem is I don't have a laptop for him to use. Only one I really have to use is this one and that one, which are all work related. He can't sit on them. So I get up, and 3, YouTube podcast. Same business, same field, because I videotape my podcast and I put it up on YouTube, as well as put the audio on Anchor, which, by the way, you should check out Anchor. I think it's anchor.fm. And if you feel like starting a podcast, it doesn't have to be what I'm doing. It could be about anything. Feel free to go there, because it is free, and they will put it out. Right now I'm on 8 different platforms at once. Go check them out. Alright. No, this is not sponsored by them, but I'm grateful for their help starting this, because I didn't know where to go, what to do months ago when I started this, and I got a lot of help from YouTube videos and Anchor. Now, so those are my 3 jobs. So in the IEP meeting, I bring it up. I said I can do it. All I need is a laptop. They basically brushed over it, and my son's mother said absolutely nothing. So I threw it on the table. They really mentioned it, but they did say that they can get us a laptop. They continue to blah, 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 and that's when she brought up the tutor. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm hearing them bitch. We don't know what to do. Bribe him. What makes him work? Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, putas. So, with a little bit more attitude in it, I said, all I need is a laptop. That's it. Sorry about that. All I need is a laptop, that's it. He's taking advantage of the fact that his mother cannot follow up on him in every step of the day. I have the time to do so. All I need is a laptop. I do not have one here for him to use. So the whole school, I don't know, teachers and the principal, their tone changed, and then they started stuttering because I was more forceful in what I was saying. My son's mother, silent as the wind. So they're like, well, we can get you a laptop. I don't know how your dynamic works, but you guys discuss it over the weekend and let us know on Monday, and we'll get you a laptop. Just sign it out. Okay. So I get a phone call today with her bitching. First it was a text, then it became a phone call. Where's my phone? I'm going to end it here after I say, oh, I turned it off, sorry. No interruptions. So, she says in the text, he's fucking grounded, I'm done, blah, 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 some other gibberish. Then she calls me telling me I need to get the laptop. I said, listen, you wanted to be the residential parent. You wanted to be big dick, remember? This is what I was talking about. Oh, and she starts screaming and yelling. I don't give a fuck if you think I said what I said was wrong, but you don't want to share the power, but you want me to do the work? Fuck you. I'm nobody's slave. Not even my son's slave. And there's not much on this planet I won't do for him. So, I was like, this is what I was talking about. You were in charge. You wanted to be a residential parent. You refused to give up any residential. You have to go to the school and sign it out. Big dick, big problems. You need to learn how to handle it. So she's flipping out. I fucking hung up on her. Because I'm the one that suggested this shit to you, silly cunt. And you don't want to fucking go do it when I suggest it. But now again, fucking 6 months later, you can't stand the stress. Now you finally want to do something in the best interest of our child's education, which is a lie. You're just not able to handle him, and you want to dump him on me. Because you want the credit. See, when you do things for credit, you're going to fail. I don't want credit for my son's education. The only time I want credit is if my son gets into sports and that little sumbitch sits there at the end of the game, winning Super Bowl, winning World Series, whatever, and they ask, "You have anything to say?" "Yeah, I'd like to thank my mother." I'm going to punch him square in his face. That bitch didn't do shit to help him besides give birth to him. And she wouldn't have been able to do that without me. So I digress on that madness. But other than that, I don't want credit. I don't go around telling people a whole lot of shit to get sympathy or credit. I learned something, I share it. So maybe it will help you too. That's it. I don't care if you go, "Oh my God, you're the greatest dad in the world." I don't give a fuck. As long as my son turns out the man he's supposed to be, I don't care if everybody goes, "Oh, it's all about your father. If without that father, you'd be nothing." I don't want that credit. I want to be anonymous when it comes to him. Because I want them to focus on him, not me. She, on the other hand, wants credit. Not once when my son did anything good or bad to say, "That's because your mom." Now, I will say I made jokes that when he does something stupid, or anal retentive, or OCD'd, you get that from your mama. But I'm only joking. I don't say when he's bad, that's your mother's fault. And I don't take credit when it's something he does good. Only a sick, egotistical cunt takes credit for helping their child become a good person. It defeats the point of what you're doing because you're not being a good person. So on that note, peace!